Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who do you have for math?
Wait a minute. I'm gonna stop. All right, so glad everybody's here. Really, we're down to the wire now. There is no class scheduled. Well, there's class for Wednesday, but it really is not scheduled. So there's nothing for us to do. I'm going to go over the quiz today just to make sure you have all the information needed. The quiz is open as of today. You need to take it before Wednesday. You could take the quiz 2 times. If you fail both times, then you can take the retake. Okay, so you really have 3 shots at getting the highest grade. All right. So it doesn't matter if you pass the first time. Take it a second time to see if you get better. And it'll take the highest grade of the 2. So don't think, oh, I got a B, that's good enough. You know, take it a second time. There are different questions. There's a question bank, so you might not have the same questions. You might have some of the same questions, but that would give you a chance to have a better grade. You all turned in your rough drafts, so you're in pretty good position here in order to get your final papers done. One logic is you turned your paper in already, so you're good. So it's just the quiz and the paper, and that's it. I do want to have everybody make sure you check the grade book very carefully, that I have a grade in for everything, that I didn't miss something, or that if you did a rewrite, I didn't change, make sure I changed your grade, okay? I will go through it too, but, Sharonda's here, all right. I'll go through it too, but, it's good if we have all eyes on it. So just double check your grades, go in the grade book, make sure you have the correct grades in there for each assignment, that I didn't miss anything, and that everything is current. If that is good, then we're really fine. So it's just a matter of turning in the final paper, preferably today, but you really have until Wednesday as far as I'm concerned. I've already read the papers, so I don't need to spend a whole lot of time. I'm just going to look and see what kind of changes you make. I'm probably not going to write much feedback on the paper at all. It's just going to be the rubric, since I've already given you the feedback on the rough draft, okay? That way I can turn them around as quickly as possible and, have everything. Final grades are due by Monday. You should have all your grades, as long as Wednesday is really the last day that you all turn in the stuff. You should all have your grades by Friday, Saturday, the latest. So whatever you see on D2L, that'll be your final grade. So if you see something out of 1,000 points, then you know that everything has been put in and everything is graded, and that's what your grade will be. Okay, so you don't have to wait until Monday or Tuesday until the official grade report comes out. If you need anything in terms of help before Wednesday or on Wednesday, just let me know. I am not planning to come to class on Wednesday, as I'm trying to get all these assignments caught up. But if you need me on Wednesday, I will be available from 8:30 to 10:20 or 9 to 10:20 for you. Or, anytime you want, that. Basically, I'll meet with you guys anytime. All right. So I do want to go through the quiz just to make sure we have all the same concepts. And I'll tell you, so I'm going to kind of go through like the questions and some of the terms. We'll just kind of do like a review for the quiz right now, just to make sure that we're all have all the information. Does anybody have any questions so far about what the rest of the week's going to look like, and any of the assignments?
No.
No, I'm so happy we're not going to have class on Wednesday. I'm not going to lie. I know, I get to finish my sociology.
I mean, yeah, it's over. Go ahead.
It's my son's birthday.
Oh.
So I get this, yeah, so I get to set up my house for his birthday and then go pick.
All right.
Oh,
Hi, Sharonda. How are you? Okay. So, who can tell me what the term, and you can use your notes, because remember the quiz, you're going to use your notes, but if you take notes right now, you will kind of make a shortcut to what you need for the quiz. So the term that we went over, it's called cognitive dissonance, and that's when you guys broke down in groups that day and talked about it. So it was a couple weeks ago. Well, what does cognitive dissonance mean? You have to know the meaning of that.
Anxiety that results from trying to hold two contradictory ideas at the same time, or from you have already admitted is true.
Correct. Okay, so it's the anxiety you face when there's two conflicting points of view. Your head knows the one thing, your heart knows the other, and you just don't know what to do. The key thing to focus on for cognitive dissonance is the terms two conflicting viewpoints. Two conflicting viewpoints. If you see those words on the quiz, then you know that's got to be cognitive dissonance.
Mommy has a lot too. I tried to make a lot. Good morning, Mommy.
How would you define bias?
I'm not gonna clap. What's that?
A personal opinion?
It goes a little bit further than personal opinion.
When you're trying to convince someone what you're thinking or is correct.
You're only saying things from one point of view, your own.
Yeah.
So let's use the definition in the textbook. Because you won't see any of those definitions you said you will not see on the quiz. So
Not even
unfair
one-sided,
judgment.
the definition.
Sharonda got it. An
Unfair
judgment.
judgment.
Unfair judgment that's resistant to change. People who are biased don't change their opinions easily. And bias is unfair. Good. All right, let's see here. What is loaded language?
Is that like language that means something different than what you're saying?
It's word choice in an attempt to persuade the reader without evidence or argumentation.
Okay, so yes, words to try to convince or persuade people without evidence. So let me give you an example. I'm going to read an example to you, and you tell me what words do you think are loaded. There's a couple or several. Eco-hippies are forcing Americans to go out of their way to participate in green projects. Eco-hippies,
Hippies.
okay, eco-hippies is one. Eco-hippies are forcing Americans to go out of their way to participate in green projects.
Oh, forcing.
Forcing, definitely. And there's actually one more.
Green project. Was it green projects?
Green, yeah, green. So we have eco-hippies, forcing, and green. So how this is loaded is it's trying to persuade you that these people are not good. It's like all of the people that are out there against the Green New Deal or whatever it is. You know, there's people that don't like that. And so this would be the attitude of people that are against the Green New Deal. They would call them eco-hippies and forcing Americans and green. Some people don't think green is good. They don't like green.
Guess they don't like money.
Well, it's plastic nowadays? Who cares? Okay, so why should we look at the writing situation when what does the writing situation tell us?
I don't understand the question.
So there's something called the writing situation. That was on one of the PowerPoints that we had. And you use that to assess something.
What question again?
So writing situation is the reason why an author wrote something. So why would you need to know that?
So you would know who the audience is and the purpose of the writing?
Yes, and to also know the author's what?
Worldview?
Point of view.
Worldview or bias, correct. So knowing why the author wrote it will tell you a little bit about his worldview and bias.
So writing situation then is knowing why an author wrote
Yes,
an article
yes, the writing
so that you would
situation
know
is,
his worldview.
yes. So what triggers the writing situation is what happened to trigger the writer to write the article. Okay. What do you call thinking about thinking?
Critical thinking? Thinking about thinking.
There's a term, a special term, I think it's chapter 5, thinking about thinking. It begins with an M.
Oh my God.
Thinking about thinking. I remember reading.
So,
Metacognition.
you got it, correct. Metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. So when you're contemplating, like, what am I going to do next? That's metacognition because you're thinking about, like, what you're going to do next. You're thinking about thinking. So meta anything is like the double. Meta language, language about language. Metacognition, thinking about thinking. Meta food, food about food, which doesn't make sense, but. Okay. So what question? So I'll just give you these because I don't think I gave you those in the notes. So when one has a worldview, having a worldview helps answer a couple questions. One of the questions a worldview helps you figure out is what matters most in life? What matters most in life? Another question that worldview helps you figure out is what should I strive to do and be? Like, what kind of person should I be? And a big question of worldview is, how did the world get here? So these are big philosophical questions. When you're figuring out your worldview, they're philosophical questions, and they deal with God and the universe and life. What matters most in life? Is it money? Is it happiness? Is it family? What should I strive to do and be? A person who is a workaholic? Someone who is relaxed? And how did the world get here? Do I believe that God created the world? Or do I believe in the Big Bang Theory? Do I believe in a different alternative view? And again, it comes down to then your religious beliefs. Like, you know, some people believe that God created the world in 7 days. Bam. What happens if you're a good critical thinker and you've always believed something, but when you now think about it critically, you realize you're not right? What should you do?
Well, you would change your worldview if you decide it's not what you were thinking is not correct.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't even have to be the worldview, but you need, yes, you need to abandon that. You need to change the way you think. So if you believed something the entire time, but now through critical thinking, you go, wow, I was wrong. You have two options. Keep thinking that, the wrong view, or to change, to abandon that and to change. Good.
Well, if you don't change, it means you're not open-minded.
That is correct, which then takes away the skills of critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So when you self-monitor, what are some of the things that's involved in self-monitoring? So I think that's chapter 5. What does self-monitoring mean?
The skill of keeping tabs on your thinking to see if it's effective.
Okay, so keeping tabs on your thinking, correct. And then we talked about two things, to be something in your life and something in your thinking. Begins with an O.
Organized?
Yes, to be organized, correct. Keeping tabs on yourself, you want to keep tabs on your thinking. You want to make sure that you're organized. You know, so again, when you go to that grocery store, especially nowadays, you want to get in, and if you go, you want to get in and out as quickly as possible without having any contact. Well, you don't have time to just like to meander around. the supermarket. And if all of you are in Sussex County, I guess, stay away from like Walmart and the big stores, because apparently they are breeding grounds for the coronavirus. Sussex County is not doing too well. Okay. And you personally, what should you also try to recognize? What's that bad thing that's resistant to change?
Bias?
Bias, correct. So you should keep tabs on yourself. You should make sure you're organized, and you want to try to recognize your own personal bias. So that's all self-monitoring. Self-monitoring are all those things. Recognize your bias, keeping tabs on yourself, and making sure you're organized. Good. What's the difference between ethos, pathos, and logos?
Oh,
What's ethos?
I always get them confused. That's a form of argument based on authority.
Pathos is right. Emotional, logos, facts. Logos deals with facts and stats.
Logos is facts and stats. So I guess you can kind of think of it this way. Logos, logic, and logic, you would use facts and statistics, if that helps. And pathos?
Based on emotion, like scare tactics, desire, empathy.
Yeah, pathos is based on emotion, and ethos is based on like authority figures, using a celebrity. So if you're trying to appeal to someone's emotions, it's pathos. If you're trying to appeal to their logic using facts and statistics and numbers, it's logos. And then if you are just trying to have like some celebrity endorse something and you like listen to them, it's ethos. And that was the problem last week, that a big celebrity suggested that people digest or ingest disinfectant. And believe it or not, people actually did it. Maryland had a lot of cases. So. Are you laughing? Yes, Maryland.
No.
Yeah, Maryland had a ton of cases for emergency responders for people who were drinking disinfectant.
Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. So, thank God Sussex County or Delaware Tech students don't, because they all took critical thinking and they know when somebody says that, stop. Is that really true? Which is, what do you call it when you first take a pause? And you question it? Skepticism. All right.
Yeah.
First you have skepticism, wait a minute, and then you start asking questions. Is this really accurate? Do I have all of the facts? Yeah, it was posted everywhere. It was in the news. You know, Maryland had an uptake in people ingesting disinfectant.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
I know.
I don't think I would need critical thinking for that one.
No, it's called common sense, right?
That's Yeah, that's pretty obvious that it's ridiculous.
You
If you,
read the warnings on the bottle. Like, if you haven't been able to do it up to now, why do people think?
why all of a sudden you'd be able to ingest it to do that? Oh my God.
So then, I guess to clean it out, you could take some Tide Pods, and that would like clean it out, right? Might as well go through the
You
whole thing.
read my mind.
Actually, there's a joke circulating with that.
To really clean the insides, then have a little bit of bleach afterwards, so it's nice and fresh. Oh my! And
What's that word?
anybody who's watching this, I do not really mean
What's
that. Please do not follow these directions. Don't do that.
No.
Do not do that at home. Okay. God.
Oh my goodness.
What does analysis mean?
To break something apart, to review it.
Correct. Break something down into its parts. Yep. Very good. What does a skeptical person need in order to actually believe what a person says?
Evidence.
Very good. So a skeptical person requires evidence before they will accept a claim. Correct. Very good. So again, someone says something, skeptical means stop, prove it to me, show me the evidence, and then makes the decision. Good. What are the types? What are the 4 types of evidence?
Testimony, an analogy,
Mm-hmm. Statistic?
Statistic, fact, and hypothetical.
Hypothetical. So how would you now think about it? Think about science and hypothesis. How would you recognize if something is a hypothetical? What word would you probably see?
Apparently.
There's a 2-letter word that you would use whenever you're coming up with hypotheticals. So you want to know, for instance, what you need to get an A. And so you want to shoot a hypothetical question.
What if?
Yes, correct. What if, or if. If this happens, then that. If is always hypothetical. It's not real. So if I get a high B on the paper, will I have an A? If I fail the course, will I have to take the course again? So if is always hypothetical because it isn't actually there. You seriously need to take the quiz as soon as we're done. I'm not kidding. Like, as soon as we're done, open the sucker and take it. Okay. Let's see here. What are some of the different patterns of organization?
Cause and effect.
Okay, so we have cause and effect. Compare and contrast.
Classification.
Classification, correct.
chronological order.
Correct?
Listing.
And listing. What's the
Definition. Yes, Dad?
and definition. Good. What's the difference between listing and chronological order?
Listing is just
Um,
arbitrary. Chron order is by alpha or date order.
Okay, when the order really matters, it's chronological. If the order does not matter, it's listing. So tell me what pattern this would be. I want to show you how good Weight Watchers is. And so I'm going to show you a picture last year when I was really, really fat, and I'm going to show you a picture of this year to compare.
Chronological.
That's chron.
Look,
Correct.
chronological order.
Chronological? No, not chronological.
Why?
I got
If
a
I
fat-
need to see
I got
how
a-
fat you was before,
Oh, shut up. Go back to sleep there, girl. A fat picture and a skinny picture. What are you doing?
Oh, you're comparing.
Yes,
Comparing.
comparing and contrasting. Very good. Turn your mic off, Shauna. Just in a mood today. Okay, here's another one. Tell me what this one is. If I were to know the reason the World War I started.
cause and effect.
Correct. Cause and effect. Very good. Cause and effect.
Turn my mic off now.
Okay. If I have a really complicated medical term, I need to explain that medical term.
Definition?
Definition, obviously.
Yeah.
Which organizational structure would I best use if I want to organize myself for the grocery store? Chronological or listing?
Listing.
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 Listing, correct. Is there any, there's probably nobody, but is there anybody out there in this group who actually plans their grocery list according to where it is in the store?
No.
I had one person did that. Like they knew aisle 1 was this, aisle 2 was this, and so they planned their grocery list so they could actually follow the proper order.
Extreme analness.
You think? You think? All right. Let's see here. What's the, okay. So the two that are kind of hard would be inductive versus deductive, but you did really well on that in class. So maybe right now, if you're taking notes, write down inductive and deductive. And remember that little chart, one went from specific to general and the other one from general to specific. Which one is which?
Is deductive general to specific?
It is not.
It is not.
So
Okay.
deductive
Well,
is
Inductive is general.
and
yes. Deductive is specific to general. And inductive is general to specific. The way I always remember it is the I, or the D for deductive comes before the I. And then you do the opposite in the alphabet for the word specific or general. That's probably too much for you, but that's how my little brain remembers it. So they're going to give you an example and you just have to recognize is it inductive or deductive. Okay. If something is a really good argument, what does it have?
Sufficient evidence.
Okay, so number one, good arguments have sufficient evidence. Very good. They also use very good what? Inductive and deductive.
Inductive.
Specific details?
When we talk about inductive and deductive, we're really talking about logic here. So a good, strong argument has good logic. It makes logical sense. So it has good evidence and has good logic. And the last thing is you cannot refute it. In other words, someone can't prove it wrong. Good evidence, good logic, and it can't be proven wrong. It cannot be refuted. A terrible argument uses what we call those, and that was in the chapter 6, unwarranted assumptions. But you only need to know the characteristics of a strong argument. Not refuted, good evidence, and good logic. If you have those things, 3 things written down, you're good. You should be getting 100 on this test. So one term we didn't go over, so I'm just going to give you that term now, the term validity. Validity, and when something is valid, it means the truth of the premises guarantees the truth of the conclusion.
Can you repeat that?
Yes. Validity means when the truth of the premises guarantees the truth of the conclusion. The truth of the premises guarantees the truth of the conclusion. That means if the logic is set up and it makes sense, it's true, then most likely the conclusion is true. But if you have that written down, that's good. That's all you need to know. All right. So what exactly is an analogy?
A comparison.
Yes, it's a comparison. So what words would you look for when you're looking for a comparison?
Like or as.
Correct. Like or as. Very good. So I could say, overeating is as dangerous to your health as,
Under.
well, they're kind of the same. Usually when you do an analogy, you're taking 2 things that are separate. So,
Drinking bleach.
oh, all right, that would work. Overeating is as bad to your health, probably not, as drinking bleach.
One's actually deadly. It's the last day of class. I mean,
I just know those EMTs are thinking, what the hell? And then they go to the doctors, and the doctor's thinking, are you serious?
Must be the elderly.
I saw
No.
one couple, a man died and the wife's in critical.
Oh my
Not here, but I saw it on the TV.
I swear.
Is that
I'm
called
just
natural
baffled.
selection?
Well, that's how I see it.
I see it. Like you want to be that.
I do. Like, I do.
Yeah, I have other descriptives for it.
All right. So that's the review. Logical fallacies. That's the things that we covered last time.
And speaking of logical fallacies, but how can a fallacy be logical?
I can't.
Logical
answer that.
lie?
I can't answer that.
There could be logical lies.
That's a good question.
I can't top of my head.
Well, a fallacy is a problem. So it's, I guess you could say it's a logically sounding problem. That's about the best I can do. All right. So if you see a question mark at the end of something, which logical fallacy is it? I gave you a couple to choose from. So I'm giving you a shortcut. You see a question mark at the end.
Well, you're obviously questioning or asking a question.
Okay, so let me give you the
Is it an extraordinary claim?
no.
Ah.
Here's your choices. Guilt by association, complex question, moving the goalposts, or
Complex
slippery slope.
Ah,
You see a question mark at the end. Is it
I
guilt?
told you, complex question.
It's a complex question, correct. So if it has a question mark, it has to be a question, which Donna, you said in the beginning. So the first thing you want to do is look for punctuation. If you see a question mark, that's your answer. All right, and let's try this one. If you try to bully somebody into believing something, so the majority of the people do this, so you should too. Is it straw man, post hoc, false authority, or appeal to the masses? The majority of the people believe that, so you should too.
so then you would be appealing to the masses.
Correct. It's kind of logical when you think about it. So the word majority, you're appealing to the masses. It's the bullying type of thing. Come on, everybody does it. You should too. Everybody buys Clorox bleach.
And then drinks it.
It's the best one to drink. Okay. And then,
And then Great Value tastes better.
all right, so and here's the last one. Okay. Whenever I wear my Ravens jersey on game day, they win. So the fact that I'm wearing the jersey causes them to win. And if I don't wear it, they will
False.
lose. What?
False call.
False cause. Very good. False cause. That doesn't cause anything, but that's, there's lots of people that believe that.
Yeah, my husband is one.
Well, yeah, I get to the point where I was, oh, damn, they lost. I better not wear
Oh,
that shirt anymore.
he's not a Ravens fan though. He's
What
not
is
a
it?
Ravens fan. He is what is it? I should know. It's all of Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he loves the Steelers. Lives and dies for the Steelers.
Worst team ever. Okay.
Oh, it's a good thing he's not in this room.
All right. So that's everything that's on the quiz. My suggestion would be
So
start it now.
See everybody? No, just joking. No, I was just joking.
I can't, there's no way I can leave and let you do the quiz and work together on this. Wait a minute, stop.